Hello, welcome to our highlights of the 1,000 kilometres of Spa, the third race in the Le Mans Series 2008, and the final showdown before the big one. 5 weeks after the Spa race, it will be the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and Audi taking on Peugeot again for the final time before they go for the big prize. Well, once more qualifying dominated by the two diesel engine manufacturers. Peugeot claiming first and third on the grid. Audi second and fourth on the front row. Alain McNish sharing his number 1 TDI with Dindo Capello. McNish to start the car alongside pole sitter Pedro Lamy, who has regular partner Stefan Sarrazin, and the 2 extra Le Mans drivers for Peugeot will be here as well. Alexander Wurz in the 8 car and Jacque Villenueuve in the number 7. And courtesy of the Peugeot, let's take a look around the Spa circuit. Start-finish line, as for the Formula 1, on the top part before the slowest part of the course, La Source, the hairpin, streaking down past the old pits, and all of that history into the predominantly terrifying Eau Rouge, near flat out in top gear corner, and one of Jacque Villeneuve's seasonal Formula 1 challenges. Climbing up the long and very steep Kemmel Straight. Speeds here for the fast prototypes hitting 300 k's or 192 miles an hour into Les Combes, right-left section that takes them off the public road and onto the purpose-made circuit that reopened Spa for racing back in the 1980s. Dropping down here through Rivage, and from here on down it's plummeting down the hillside. And the onboard camera rarely gives you an idea again of quite how steep this drop is. Cars hurtling down here, the diesel engine making it sound like he's really cruising. But put your fingers in your ears and watch the speed with which he's gobbling up the tarmac, and you'll appreciate the sort of speeds here. And again, down towards the bottom, the lowest part of the circuit, the car's pushing very hard through the corners, and even with the downforce available, finding the front end washing out there. This is a good qualifying pace kind of lap, pushing hard using all the curbs, and then again now starting the climb all the way up to the start-finish line once more. Leveling out here at the bottom of the hill, and now we start to climb, and from here on it is all but pedal to the metal until you get into the braking area at the bus stop. And that's very useful around here at Spa, particularly for lapping other cars. Once more into La Source. It's a good view of the track courtesy of Peugeot's HDI. Now then, the race getting underway rather bizarrely behind the safety car, because this accident for the Embassy Racing WF01 Zytek, Joey Foster being hit from behind, punted off on the warm-up lap. That was in fact by the number 31 Team Essex Porsche in the LMP2 category, and so the race having to start behind the safety car. So Joey Foster in the number 46 Embassy Racing car, again suffering misfortune in the LMP2 class. They'd retired from the previous 2 races and did not start this third one, so hardly a great debut. Now then, getting stuck in the pit lane, this car number 6, the Team Orica, sole Team Orica car, and a couple of the others. You can see the Essex Racing Porsche at the back there, because the pit lane was not open while the safety car was out on lap 1 of the race. As they got to the green, it was already the beginning of lap 2, so everybody in the pit lane was automatically a lap down, which seems a little unfair. Never mind, racing underway with the pole-sitting number 8 car leading from Audi number 1. Then the number 7 Peugeot, Nick Minasian starting that one ahead of Mike Rockenfeller in Audi number 2. But Pedro Lamy immediately under threat for the lead of the race from Alain McNish. And Audi here working with their low downforce Le Mans style nose on one car and a higher downforce setup on another car on the rear end of the car, playing around with different strategies, and seemingly a lot closer to Peugeot on pace than they had been in the season opener at Barcelona, or indeed 2 weekends ago at Monza. And Audi feeling a lot more confident after bringing on some development work here at Spa than they had been up to this stage. There's Ralf Juttner, the man who really oversees the technical side of the whole project for Audi Sport and for Team Joest. He oversees their Le Mans Series projects. He's been the boss of the ALMS and Le Mans racing teams for many years. On board with the Peugeot up the Kemmel Straight. Great view of the battle here. Trying to get alongside Alain McNish for second place. Didn't quite work out for Nicolas Minassian. Says Saunier. Watching and breathing again as the two very nearly get together. Number 7 car of Nicolas Minassian started third. He'd immediately latched on to McNish after the first lap or so in the battle for second place. Could not quite get the overtaking manoeuvre safely put to bed, and half a lap later, big lock-up at the hairpin at La Source, and that was really a big mistake because he certainly didn't need to be trying to pass that deep inside the corner. He had, however, been up to second at the line, as you could see from the two red lights on the side of the car. We look at the side of the Peugeot here. One red light means it's the leader in the class. 2 red lights for second, 3 red lights for third place in the LMP1 class, which is indicated by the red lights, blue lights for LMP2, green for GT1, the faster, more powerful production-ish based cars, and orange for GT2. Looking at the Creation and the Oreca, they're going through shot. Incidentally, Stefano Ortelli in a clinic in Monaco after his terrifying accident in the other Oreca car 2 weekends ago in Monaco, and hoping to be fit for Le Mans. And the Oreca car driven by Nicolas Lapierre, passing Stuart Hall in the Creation AIM. And the Oreca team happy to race this car here because they understand that it was a collision that caused the damage to Ortelli's car that caused the accident. Both Peugeots in the pits at the same time for their first routine pit stop. Alain McNish coming in the number 1 Audi as well. Green flag racing through most of the first hour. Onboard camera, car number 2, showing Mike Rockenfeller coming in. And at the moment, the balance equal between Audi and Peugeot.
I mean, we really have seen a thrilling race. We did in traffic quite a similar pace to Peugeots and our cars. We could run because of having better fuel economy 2 laps longer than the Peugeots. And I think we did again a great pit stop, so we could at least catch up. I think Ellen at present is even in the lead. So we keep on fighting to the end. It will be a thrilling race.
Well, Audi, it's a little bit of a loss as to why Peugeot's pit stops seem to be costing them so much time, plus they don't have Audi's fuel economy, and all of that a problem in a 6-hour race and in a 24-hour one. Over an hour into the race, the battle at Spa still alive for second place. Once more between the Audi number 1 driven by Alain McNish and the Peugeot number 2 of Nicolas Minassian. Out of Eau Rouge, great run by Minassian. The onboard shows how you can really build up speed up the Kemmel Straight. Late braking by McNish. They're both off, but the Peugeot comes back on in front. Great dicing. A little bit of tyre smoke from the right rear of McNish's car. Have a look again as they both outbrake each other. McNish into the pits for new tyres.
Okay, at the start it was, to be honest, the worst start I have ever had in motor racing. Ridiculous. Pedro Lamy before the last corner was wide open throttle. He didn't wait until the line, and he was already 50 metres in front before we got to the line. That's not the way that we do racing, it's not the way we do starts. I was very disappointed in him. After that I was able to fight quite well. I lost a little bit in traffic, but then gained it back towards the end of the stints. The pit stops were very good by the Audi guys, but I got balked in traffic going through Eau Rouge, and Nicolas was coming and coming. He went to the outside, and then in the braking area I don't think he realised I was still on his inside at that point. It's very difficult to see in a closed car, and as he turned in I was already there, which caused an immediate puncture to the right rear of my car. Sorry, left rear, and that caused us an extra pit stop.
certainly visibility from on board the Peugeots may be a major factor.
Exciting racing, which you don't expect that in endurance. So it's good. It's good to see that there was some aggressive driving, and looks like the car is going a little bit faster now. The first run we lagged behind a little bit, but the pace has gotten good again, and Nicola is driving fast. So that's looking good for us.
How do you feel yourself at the moment? Ready to go?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's still a few laps to go, and then we'll do our part.
Villeneuve having his first try of the car in 2008 spec. Here's our LMP2 pole sitter and class leader, Jos Verstappen, sharing his Porsche Spider with Peter van Merkstein, and these guys have got an enviable record so far. They've had a win and a second place and 3 consecutive poles in the LMP2 category. Now here's the speedy racing team Sabar's Lola 08 Coupe with its Judd engine. Andrea Bellicchi driving that car, sharing it with Steve Zakia and Xavier Pompidou, second in the LMP2 class, and the Horeg Lister Racing Porsche Spider, Freddie Lienhardt, Didier Tays and Jan Lammers in the car. They're in third place. Didier Tays racing at home in Belgium again. But the number 1 car on the board is car number 7, Marc Genet, Nick Minassian, the regular drivers, sharing with Jacque Villenueuve, and of course this car started in third place. There in the pits is the number 8 car, the pole sitter, and Alexander Wurz, the man just about to get on board. Mechanic having to lean right into this tight confined cockpit to strap in Wurz. Wurz, ex-Grand Prix driver, of course, done fair degree of sports car racing as well, and he was a Mercedes factory driver, if memory serves, in his formative years. And as he and Villeneuve are about to ship on board, McNish and Capello's car leading from the 2 Peugeots, with the sister number 2 Audi in 4th place. Best of the petrol engine cars, Hugues de Schoenach's Courage, which started from the pit lane and was a lap down. But drama for the number 8 Peugeot. Alexander Wurz crashing heavily. There's a spiker involved as well. It's the first shot the TV cameras had of it, and suddenly Ralf Hüttner and everyone else in the Audi garage to their feet to try and figure out what on earth is going on. Here's the view from car number 2 coming through the debris, radioing through information as he sees it, as they all do. There's Alexander Wurz, the tall Austrian, clearly none the worse for his off. And Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich and everybody else at Audi springing into action, because Dindo Capello is coming in without a right rear tyre, bodywork damage as well. He's clearly been involved somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I got the report from Dindo Capello that when he, with the Peugeot behind him, came to the spiker, he could overtake the spiker, and then suddenly, in the next moment, he got a big hit from the rear. And what we have seen then is somehow, I think, the spiker and the Peugeot touched each other, and maybe they hit him as well. So we haven't seen it in detail, but that's the feeling that he told me. He was just getting a big hit from behind.
Well, it's second race in succession. Capello being involved in somebody else's accident, it seemed, and Alexander Wurz confirmed that when he got back to the pit lane. Better shape than the Peugeot was.
All right, I was catching up after the safety car. I came very fast to Capello, and he was slowed down by a car. So on the straight I was going next to him, and then on the brake turn in for turn 14, a slower car, I don't know which car it was a GT2, touched me on my right rear when I was braking for the corner, and that spun me. That hit me into Capello, so it was not a fight between him and me, because I was already next to him, and it is just one of these misfortunate moments on such a nice day. And again, I'm sorry for my team, I'm sorry also for Audi, because it wasn't that it was just aggression of the fight, it was, I guess, just this problem of space between all of us.
Alex, thanks very much.
So that accident bringing out the second safety car, and up front after the track was cleared was Peugeot number 7, Jacque Villenueuve, having his first run in the car. Behind the safety car, half dozen laps to settle himself in, then clear track ahead of him, so the ideal introduction back into racing that car. Second place, Mike Rockenfeller in the car he shares with Alexandre Premat, and the crew of the number 2 Audi, incidentally, coming into the race at Spa as the championship leaders. Peugeot have won both races, but they've been shared between the 2 cars. Number 2 had been second in both races, and therefore they had a better point score. Well, Rockenfeller doing a sterling job with ex-single-seater ace Alex Premat, and the Orica car going extremely well as well. Olivier Panis, another safe pair of hands, very experienced racer. Third place from starting on the back row of the grid and in the pit lane, cutting its way through traffic past the Epsilon, a new closed coupe, fabulous looking number 20 machine. And that driven here by Angel Bueno and Miguel Angel de Castro, a Catalan-based team.
Well, it was okay, but we did some pit stops and we didn't change the tires, and our tires didn't like that. The car became very slippery after that, so it was a question of survival. So I'm happy the yellow flag came out again.
Confirm, Jacque, it's a good way to prepare Le Mans?
I think so, because you get used to the traffic, racing conditions, pit stops, driver changes, and that's very important.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Jacque.
One other interesting problem thrown up perhaps for Peugeot, that the car doesn't like staying on tyres behind the safety car. After the safety car release, big problem for Vanina X, the roll centre racing car, going off under braking at La Source. Fortunately a slow corner, but it was a big impact caused by the fact that the gearbox was a random selector. And the Belgian girl, she said on the downshifts, you never knew what gear it was going to go into. In the end, it locked up on her, and she did very well indeed to avoid the car right in front, in the car that prepared by Roll Centre Racing. And then great presence of mind. She'd make a great rally driver, this girl. Select first gear, drive it back to the pits the whole way around the 8.5 miles. Number 16, the Pescarolo team, the Pescarolo Jard of Manu Collard and Jules Bouillon in 4th place in the P1 category, and overall top P2 car, the number 33 Lola Judd, as high as 6th position at this stage. And the 33 car, Andrea Bellicchi, Steve Zacchia and Xavier Pompidou's SEBA Racing entry, but that was not destined to be classified as a finisher, unfortunately, because of late problems. And the sister Pescarolo car of Harold Prima, the Swiss, and Christophe Tanso at that stage in 5th position, benefiting, of course, from the absence of the number 8 Peugeot, and so looking increasingly as though there might be a petrol engine car on the podium once more. Well, Henri Pescarolo, for many years, a racer himself, and of course still a fervent supporter of sports car racing. Now then, penalty for Dindo Capello and Alan McNish's number 1 car. They missed a red light at pit exit, and that cost them a 3-minute penalty. Problems too for the Spartak Racing Lamborghini Murcielago. You see it there in slow-mo, the nose coming off the car, battling for the lead in GT1. Well, this is the Corvette leading the GT1 category, the Luc Alphand Adventure machine. And the number 55 Lamborghini having a good run with the Russian driver Roman Rusinov and Peter Cox, who's been very much involved in this Lamborghini Murcielago project for many years. And that cover over the engine is a compulsory part of the Le Mans rules. And that would eventually cause the team lots of problems. They decided to rip the nose off and continue without it. Were then told they couldn't, so they had to put a whole new nose unit on. Meanwhile, in the GT2 class, the Felbermeyer Proton Porsche of Mark Lieb and Alex Davison leading at the moment, but it's a seesaw battle with this car, the number 96 Virgo Motorsport Ferrari of last year's championship winner Robert Bell, sharing with Jimmy Bruni, who had so much success, of course, for Ferrari in the American Le Mans series last year and in the FIA GT series. A very strong driver lineup, and again having a very strong run at this stage, leading the GT2 category with the Pierre Eret and Pierre Caffer Porsche, the number 90 car, in 3rd position. Peugeot, Audi and Orica dominating the race after 4 hours. Hour 5 of the Le Mans Series race at Spa, the final run-up to Le Mans. And Alexandre Prémat in the pits, getting fresh tyres as he takes over car number 2. Meanwhile, Alain McNish, 4th place in the number 1 Audi. 4th in the LMP1 category. 2 LMP stands for Le Mans prototype classes, for open or closed prototype cars, purpose-built racing machines with no direct relation necessarily to any road car. The LMP1 cars, heavier, more powerful. LMP2, a little bit lighter and a little bit less powerful. And there is Nicolas Minassian, the race leader in the closed Peugeot. Now look at how narrow the view out the front is, and look how much in the extremities there is of the A pillar. That's your windscreen pillar on your car. Now normally on a road car that would be a couple of inches deep. In the Peugeot it's a better part of a foot deep, which means peripheral vision is very limited. All right, it's very quick and you want to be looking out the front a lot, but when you get into traffic, is that a problem? Is that why Peugeot are having more problems, it seems, in traffic than the open prototypes? Here's the Audi coming through the LMP2 category. Good battle there. Oh, and contact. That's Mathieu Lahaye. Dindo Capello trying to sneak by the young Frenchman. He was battling, or at least worrying, about Jos Verstappen, who was passing him for position, not for position, but in the class, lapping him. The Audi got away with it, but Lahaye stuck on the curbs for a while. Closing stages of the race, and for the 3rd Le Mans Series race in 2008, the winner is the same as every time last year. There's the Sabre Racing entry, by the way, at the side of the road as the Audi comes round, car number 7 to take victory. Started from 4th place on the grid, but it is a win for Peugeot, 2nd place for the Audi team. Marc Genet, Nicolas Minassian, Jacque Villeneuve claiming victory from Alexandre Prémat and Mike Rockenfeller. Here is our LMP2 class winner. The Peter van Merkstein and Jos Verstappen, Porsche RS Spider, claiming victory for the 2nd time this season, ahead of Horag Racing's Freddie Lienhard, Didier Tays and Jan Lammers. And it's a Porsche 123, Casper Elgaard, John Nielsen in 3rd place. GT1 win finally battled out by Luc Alphon, Guillaume Moreau and Patrick Goulart, ahead of Roman Rusinov and Peter Cox's Lamborghini. So the Corvette winning the 1st time this season. Antonio Garcia, Thomas Engers, Team Modena, Aston Martin in 3rd place. And the GT2 win in the end at last gasp. You saw it going through shot. Robert Bell and Jimmy Bruni's Virgo Motorsport Ferrari hobbled in the closing stages, held off Mark Lieb's late charge in the Felbermeyer Proton Porsche by less than 0.2 of a second.
Oh, I'm very happy. I knew coming here that the car would be competitive, and I have a lot of trust in my 2 teammates, Nicolas and Marc. They race hard and they don't make mistakes, so it went well today.
Jacques, do you have the same sensation that after a victory in the Grand Prix of Formula 1, for example?
Well, it's nice. The last time I won a race was in '97, so it's nice to be on the top step of the podium.
Of course, the next big rendezvous is Le Mans. Ready?
Yes, I think today we showed that the car was competitive and we work well, the 3 of us. So it's looking good for Le Mans, but it's a long race. Anything can happen.
Ain't that the truth? And hopefully an awful lot will happen at Le Mans to keep sports car fans on their toes. One thing that is certain, though, is Peugeot are not going to have it all their own way, nor are Audi. It's going to be a fantastic battle between those 2 major manufacturers. But then what about the Courage Oreca team? What about the Pescarolos? And where will these Porsche Spiders finish, those that get into the race? Well, there you can see the official results. 19th and 20th, that battle for the GT2 class, decided by 18 hundredths of a second. After 1,000 kilometers of racing, it does not get much closer than that. Our overall winners, though, Marc Genet, there you see him with Nick Minassian, Jacque Villeneuve on the top step of the podium. Audi taken 2nd, and the Oreca team, first petrol engine, first non-factory team, in 3rd place with their Courage Judd. So congratulations to all concerned. Incidentally, the 2nd Pescarolo did not finish the final lap, so not qualified as a finisher. So disappointment for them too, but some Great racing at Spa, fabulous weather, 35,000 fans turning up, so the series really starting to capture public imagination now. And of course, next stop is Le Mans. Don't forget, 30 hours of race coverage at Le Mans on Eurosport, day, night, and back into day again. You can catch all the action on your favourite sports channel. Please join the boys live at Le Mans, and the same weekend as well, World Touring Car Championship action from Brno in the Czech Republic, and that kicks back into life again this weekend. But from a fabulous sunny Spa, it's once more Peugeot that come out on top. Will they be able to claim the prize that they came to endurance racing for and win the 24 Hours of Le Mans? Only on Sunday in the middle of June will we find the answer. Till the next time, from me, Martin Haven, it's goodbye from Spa.